Good afternoon, everybody, and good afternoon, Sir Janelle. My topic for today is about assessment of learning under the characteristics of a portfolio assessment. To begin with my report, let me define what is an assessment and a portfolio. An assessment is based on the systematic collection of learners' work that represents competencies, exemplary work, or the learner's developmental progress. So what are those collection of learners' work? Those are written assignments, drafts, artworks, and presentations. Systematic because it is done according to a fixed plan or system. It is logical, neat, precise, and analytical. Logical because it follows the methodology, neat because it is practical, precise because it follows certain standards, and analytical because it is arranged or in order. Next, a portfolio. A portfolio is a systematic process and purposeful collection of student work to document the student learning progress, efforts, and achievement towards the attainment of learning outcomes. So in short, it is a systematic process that follows a well-organized collection of products of student works. What is a portfolio assessment? A portfolio assessment is a collection of student works that are associated with the standards they are required to learn. This collection of work is often gathered over a long period of time to reflect what they have been taught as well as what they have been learned. Each piece in the portfolio is selected because it is an authentic representation of what you have learned and is meant to demonstrate your current knowledge and skills. A portfolio by nature is a storybook, capturing a student's progression of learning as they move through the year. So a portfolio identifies student strengths. It involves evaluation process such as student reflection and evaluation, awareness in their own progress and performance in the classroom, and it also facilitates communication of students' achievement to others. It provides opportunity to have a dialogue from their teacher and with classmates and develop skills of the students. Types of portfolio. Number one, showcase portfolio. Showcase portfolio shows the best of the student's best work. It is based on the student's personal criteria rather than the criteria of their teacher. Here, the student select their best work and reflect thoughtfully on its quality. This also shows the uniqueness of student work. There are some components of a showcase portfolio. First, they are developed for a specific audience. Here, the audience of the students is their teacher or their potential employer, and the teacher's audience is himself or external reviewers. Number two, they have a specific purpose. The student's portfolio shows his or her artistic abilities, whereas the teacher's portfolio shows his or her knowledge, skills, and abilities related to teaching. Number three, they contain work samples commonly called evidence. Here, evidence is the stuff or thing. They are put into the portfolio. The students' evidence are those written assignments, drafts, artworks, photographs, videotapes, or electronic records of student completed work. Whereas the teacher's evidence would include the student work, the lesson plans, units of study, and other professional documents. And number four, they have reflections. Both the artist and the teacher would have written thoughts on the evidence contained in the portfolio in the form of a self-reflection and self-evaluation. Next portfolio is a documentation portfolio. It involves a collection of work over time, showing growth and improvement, reflecting students' learning of identified outcomes. It also called as a growth portfolio that can include everything from brainstorming activities to drafts to finished product. It is also called as an scrapbook of information. It may include observation, checklist, and rating skills, and selection by both the students and the teachers. A documentation portfolio is to highlight the development and improvement of students' learning during a given period of time. It often contains a range of evidence from the brainstorm list to rough drafts to finished product. So, it includes the best and the weakest of student works and displays changes and accomplishment related to academic performance over time. The next one is the process portfolio. A process portfolio shows a person's performance over a period of time. Its purpose isn't to prove something but rather to improve something. The goal of this portfolio is to evaluate a progress in one or more areas over a given period of time. This shows the steps and or the results of a completed project or task as the primary goal. So in the process-oriented portfolios, it tells a story about the growth of a learner. They document the processes of learning and creating, including earlier drafts, reflections on the process, and obstacles encountered along the way. They may be organized into skills areas or teams, yet it contains a student's work from the beginning, middle, and end of a learning unit. So there is a step-by-step process. Next is the product portfolio. Product-oriented portfolios are collections of work a student considers his best or her best. The aim is to document and reflect on the quality and range of accomplishments rather than the process that produced them. It generally requires a student to collect all of her work until the end, at which time she must choose the artifacts or products that represent work of the highest quality. Similar to process portfolio, except its focus is on the end products rather than on the process in which the product was developed. So there is a little or no information about the step that was used in crafting the product. And the last one is the standard-based portfolio. In this portfolio, it collects evidence that links student achievement to a particular learning standards. It focuses on the specific standards that are predetermined by the teacher and discussed at the start of the school year. Students will gather evidence of accomplishment for each of the standards and present these output clusters that relate to the given standard. So, there is a predetermined standard to follow and the output must be related or the product must be related to that particular standard. So we will discuss now the elements of portfolio. Number one is the cover sheet. The cover sheet includes the nature of the student's or group's work and could be in the form of a letter. It also reflects the progress of the learners and summarizes the evidence of students' learning in progress. And this is an example of a cover sheet, which is a final portfolio. It includes the name of a group or the name of a person, the grade, year level, the subject or course, the purpose, the type of portfolio, the date, and the section, the entries, the scores, the comments or suggestions, and the total score. It also includes the recommendation and the suggested future goals. and the final portfolio grade and the evaluator. And the second element of portfolio is the table of contents. This includes the title of its work sample and its page number. And number 3 is the work samples. These are entries which are to be included in the portfolio, which can be categorized as core and optional. Core entries are samples which are needed to be included, or the basic elements. Optional are those students' preference on what to include. And number 4 is the dates of all samples works. This is to facilitate the evidence of growth over time. And the fifth element is the draft, which are written products or even the seminal attempts in writing the write-ups for the portfolio and revised version based on the corrected versions. And number 6 is self-assessment. These are written by students or the group members, which could be in terms of self-reflection and analysis or a form of insights. Number 7 is future goals. This is based on the students' group or groups' current achievements, interest, and progress. And number 8, other comments and assessment. This may come from the teacher, the cooperative learning groups, and other interested parties such as parents. And here are examples of best work portfolios according to subject matter. For example, science. An individual student, the best solution to a specific scientific post by the instructor, review of a scientific article, work conducted, original hypothesis formulated, position paper on a scientific issue, log or journal entry from a long-term experiment. And in cooperative side or group, the best scientific experiment conducted or project completed laboratory. And in mathematics, the best solution to the problem posed by the instructor, description on how to solve mathematical problem, review of mathematics article, biography of mathematician, original mathematics theory developed, photo or diagram concepts of map, mathematical idea investigated. And in cooperative group, the best project completed, small business plan initiated. And also in the language arts, individual students, the best compositions, ion, a variety of styles, expository, humor, and satire. Or creative, like poetry, drama, short story. Or in journalistic, reporting, editorial columnist, reviewer, and advertising copy. And the cooperative group, the best dramatic production, video project, TV broadcast, newspapers, and advertising display. And this is the end of my report. And to summarize it all, a portfolio assessment is a form of assessment that students do together with their teachers, and it enables students to reflect their real performance, to show their weak and strong domain, and to observe students' progress during the learning process, and encourages students to take responsibilities for their own learning. So thank you very much and be safe always.